Welcome to another one of our Photoshop tutorials. Today we're going to be going over how to create this colored smoke image effect. We upload content daily, so if you're new to the channel, please be sure to click on the subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video, please be sure to click on the like button. If you can, share the video. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's get started. The first thing we'll do is open up a new document 1920 by 1080 pixels. Next, we'll bring up our first image. We have this colored smoke image, and we also have this profile image of this couple here. There'll be a link in the description for download. We'll make our colored smoke image visible and hide the couple image. I'm going to name my layers colored smoke, and we'll name this image couple. Now that we've labeled our layers, it'll be a lot easier to follow along. The first thing I'll do is highlight and select my colored smoke layer. I'm going to press Ctrl T to scale down, Ctrl 0 so I can see what I'm working with. While holding Shift and Alt, I'll scale my image down. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to hover over the corner until I see my curved double arrows, and I'll rotate my image. We're going to move it over to the corner, rotate some more, and scale it out a bit more. I'll rotate a little bit more and then scale out some more. Rotate back a bit, and that looks good right about there. I'll press Enter to confirm. I'll duplicate my colored smoke layer, Ctrl J. I'll select my layer, move it over to the side, Ctrl T to bring up my transform tool, hover over the corner until I see my curved double arrows, and rotate in the opposite direction. And I'll place it right about there. I'll press Enter to confirm. I'll go into Edit, Transform, and Flip Vertical. I'll press Ctrl T again, and then rotate some more. And I'll place it right about there. I'll press Enter to confirm. I think I want to move this up a bit, so I'll move it to just about there. I think that looks good there. I'll bring up a hue and saturation adjustment layer, and I'll push my slider to the left a bit. I'm looking for a purple type of color on the smoke. I think that looks good right about there. I have it at -61. I'll press my clip icon at the very bottom of the hue saturation properties to clip it to the layer. I'll X out, and I'll lower my opacity a bit. I lowered my opacity of the hue and saturation layer to 73%. Next, we'll highlight our couple layer, make it visible, With your move tool, we'll move this into place. I'll press Ctrl T to scale it down to preference. What we're looking for is the profile of the male to fit within the orange smoke and the profile of the female to fit within the pink smoke. So I think this looks good. We might have to scale it down a bit more. I'm going to rotate it. That looks much better right there. Let's see if I can scale up some more and move that into place there. That looks good right about there. I'll press enter to confirm. I'll change the blend mode of my color layer to screen. I'll duplicate this layer, Ctrl J, and I'll change the blend mode to normal. I'll hide the copy of the couple layer and highlight my couple layer. Before we continue, I think I want to increase the size just a bit more so the curve of the female's forehead lands right about here. So let's see if we can make this work. I'm going to highlight both layers, the couple and the couple copy layer. I'll make it visible. I'll press Ctrl T. See if we can make some more adjustments here. I think that looks good right about there. I'm going to move it over to the left a bit more, and that should work out well. I'll scale it up a bit more while holding shift. I'll scale and then reposition so that the curve of her forehead works out and aligns with the curve of the smoke. And I want her chin to come out and align with the bottom portion of the smoke. So let's see if we can scale it out a bit more. And move it up a bit. I think that works out well right there. There we go. I'll press enter to confirm. And I'll highlight my couple layer that has a screen blend mode. I'll click on this little icon so I can hide the copy of the couple layer. And we'll begin masking. So I'll select mask while I'm highlighted on the couple layer. I'll change my foreground color to black by pressing X to toggle the colors between foreground and background. And I'll begin with my mask. Select my brush tool. I'll increase my brush and make certain that my hardness is set to 0. I'll click and drag to get rid of some of the hard lines from our couple layer. I'll scale down my brush a bit and continue to mask out. I'll mask out on the male side of the image. I'm going to scale my brush down and we're going to zoom in a bit. What we can do here is we're going to, on the screen layer, as long as we're on the main couple layer, which has a blend mode of screen, we can soften the edges along the front portion of the face, because we're going to use the copy of our couple layer as the front portion of the face here. So we can mask this out a bit, soften it. Same with the chin. Next, I'll make my copy layer visible. I'll zoom out and we'll begin masking again. So I'll select mask when I'm on my copy layer and we're going to mask out. So what we're looking for on this layer is just to allow this portion of the face on the male and this portion of the face on the female. Everything else will be masked out, and we'll use the background screen copy to fill in the remainder of the face. So I'll increase the size of my brush and begin masking. I'll do the same on the opposite side. I'll toggle my foreground colors with X so that way I can make some portions visible again. I'll zoom in a bit. Decrease the size of my brush. And we're just going to make this visible here. And just toggle back and forth until you feel you have a good enough mask, something that aligns well with the shape and flow of the smoke. So we're going to get rid of some of these hard lines. And we'll do the same on the opposite side. Before we do that, we'll zoom out. I'll control click on the copy layer to get the selection. I'll use my eraser tool and I'll select my colored smoke layer. So we're working on the left side here. It's the main colored smoke layer, not the copy for now. With my eraser tool selected, I'll begin to edit out. I'll have to press Ctrl-Shift-I to invert our selection. Now that I have my eraser tool selected and I'm on my main colored smoke layer, I should be able to erase some of this background smoke. Now we'll highlight and select the copy of the color smoke layer to do the same on the opposite side. Control D to deselect, and the effect is beginning to take place. Now we just need to add some adjustments to these layers because I do not want these hard lines here. So I want to soften it a bit. I'll select the copy of the couple layers. I'll zoom in and I'll begin masking out again. I'll select my brush tool and just get rid of some of these hard lines here. If you notice that you have some of the smoke background visible, then select that layer and click on your mask. With the foreground color set to black, mask it out. I'll go back to my copy layer of the couple and continue with my edits. So I'm just gonna get rid of these hard lines because we want it to have a smooth and soft look. So I'll scale my brush down and work around my image. If you notice that the smoke comes into the foreground, again, you'll just select the layer and its mask and just mask that out. So we're going to go all around the image to make sure that we don't have to continue to go back and forth. Now that we've completed the edits around our images, what we'll do is we'll add the toning effects. So I'll highlight the top layer and press my new layer option at the bottom of the layers panel to create a new layer. I'll use my eyedropper tool to make a selection of the smoke color. Now that we have our foreground color set, I'll select my brush tool, zoom in a bit, I'll change the blend mode of my new layer to soft light. I'll decrease my brush size and begin to shade in around our image. I'll make a color selection on the opposite side with my eyedropper tool. I'll move over and with my brush tool perform the same action. We'll zoom out and now we'll just add some additional adjustment layers. I'll press with my top layer selected, I'll press Ctrl, Shift, Alt, and E to merge visible, and we'll start with our first adjustment layer. I'm going to select curves and I'm just going to move this side down a bit and click up here and move this side up a bit. I'll X out, adjustment layers, brightness and saturation. I'll darken this up a bit and I'll increase the contrast. I'll lower the opacity of my brightness and contrast layer to about 80%. I'll then add a levels layer. I'll move this stopper over to the right a bit and move my midtones to the left a bit. I'll then add a color lookup adjustment layer. and we'll select Candlelight. With the mask on the color lookup selected, with my brush tool, I'll mask out the smoke. I'll lower the opacity of my brush to about 45%. I'll increase my brush size and we'll begin to mask out this portion of our color lookup. I'll do the same on the opposite side and mask out that portion. Next, I'll create a gradient adjustment. I want to select pink as my color, so I'll select my left stopper and bring it to a pinkish purple hue. I think that looks nice. I'll select OK. I'll click OK again. I'll set my style to radial. I'll increase the size to 200% and I'll click reverse. I'll select OK, and on the mask of my gradient fill, I'll begin to mask out the portions where I do not want to see my gradient. I'll lower the opacity of my gradient to about 60%. You have now completed our colored smoke image effect tutorial. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to click on the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and share it. We would love to continue to upload new content, so if you have any ideas for future tutorials, please let us know in the comments below. Until next time. Thank you.